of 5 yards down to the 10. Going to work in the red zone, they can't pick up the first down without getting it into the end zone. Out of the gun, the running back has it. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Nevada! They've extended the lead and taken control here in Week 9.
Another rushing touchdown. That's now 2 on the game. This offense thought they could come into this one running the ball, being the more physical team, and they look like it right now.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they now have a 3-possession lead at 17. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
All right, guys, want to update you on a game that went final moments ago. North Carolina was able to finish off a close one in Chapel Hill. They did just enough both offensively and defensively to come away with the dub. Hey, survive and advance. It's one game. You don't want to react too much either way. But I think both teams will leave this one with some things to work on moving forward.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. They'll give it to the back. Got it across the 20 and out to the 23, a pickup of 4. So what do they have for 3rd and short from their own 23? They'll try to move the chains on the ground. Gets the job done on 3rd down as he gets it out to the 25. The Beavers have it with a 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. Tip ball, put it up for grabs, and I thought he had it, but somehow it slithered through his fingers. They'll go back to the air on 2nd down. Quarterback now on the run, still looking. And he's a real nowhere man tackled in this no-gain land. They're going to keep this drive going. They'll have to make a play on 3rd and long. And here's a fumble way behind the line. Picks up the ball and tries to make something of it. Well, after the quarterback put the ball on the deck, he went into damage control mode and was able to get back on top of it.
Yeah, he's really lucky. And you remember, quarterbacks, they're not practicing the same ball security as running backs are, per se, each and every week in practice, but that's no excuse. That quarterback has got to do a better job holding on to the rock.
The Beavers will punt it away on 4th down. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Now a fair catch is called for and made just shy of midfield. Nevada takes over as the offense returns to the field. He'll start this drive firing. The Sweet Feet buy a little time. And a nice pickup on the run and gets down to avoid contact. They're down to the 35 on 1st and 10. Looking to move it through the air. Fires to the big fella. And that's a very productive 1st down play and bringing up 2nd and 3. He's looking to throw. He looks that one in nicely. Put it right on him. Sweet play, good pickup, and they'll move the chains with the 1st down.
Well, you know who's got to love this offense picking up so many 1st downs? It's their own defense. David, I know you love playing on teams with great offenses.
As we reach the 2-minute warning, they'll need to try to get a stop to keep this thing from getting out of hand. Looking to pass inside the red zone. Moving, keeping the eyes downfield. And he gets it just beyond the line of scrimmage before he gets down. Now on 2nd down. He's looking to throw. Starting to feel a little pressure. Picks up the 1st down and gets down to avoid contact. The offense threatening, close to the end zone now with a new set of downs. The snap sets up to throw. And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13.
Just like to see the quarterback have a clock going off in his head, forcing him to get rid of that football. Can't take a sack on 1st down in goal-to-go situation and move your offense backwards.
Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. He's looking to throw. Fires into the end zone. And he was going for the touchdown there, and they couldn't make the connection. 3rd and goal from way back there. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. And it's incomplete as he was trying to finish the drive with a score. And on 4th down, they'll try to salvage the drive with a field goal. Splits the uprights right down the middle. And they'll push that lead out a little further.
Nevada, 20, 46, 0.
So they put the field goal on the board and about to kick it away, and hoping that'll be the final points of this first half. On the move from inside his 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Oregon State has it back, and here comes the Beaver offense. So late in the half, this is really an opportunity, David, maybe to swing the momentum in their favor.
Dang right. There's no time to be conservative. We're a little bit down. Listen, I just think this is a point with the offense that they can prove. Like, we're here, we're going to create something now that we can build on in the second half.
Coach said all week he wanted to be aggressive. This is a great opportunity to show that right now. At the end of the first half, try and generate some momentum, score some points before going into halftime.
Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll go to the sideline and try to make adjustments. And the Beavers will call on their punt team. Let's see if he can help the coverage team out with this one. The coverage team was down there to corral him. They made the stop, and they'll mark it at the 39. First down here for the offense. They'll come out on this drive and let it rip. Quick strike complete. They make the stop, but not before they do their work up top and pick up a first down. The offense calls timeout. It's the second one they've used this half. He'll come out throwing on first down. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. And now on second down for this offense. Couldn't connect on first down, now back to the air. And the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hit. Running out of time here in the first half, they're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. Oh, it looks as if the defense got it. And he's brought down, and this defense gets the ball back for its own. Looking for a productive play on first down. The give to the back. And a nice solid pickup there before the defense wrestles him to the ground. A timeout is called as this offense tries to find a way to get more points on the board before the half. And in the closing moments of the first half, they'll try to put a 3-spot on the board. He nails it, a 58-yard field goal. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, you've been calling a lively one from there in Corvallis. An entertaining first half, and we've got a multi-possession lead to break down thanks to the surgical precision of this offense. Might honestly take more time to talk about what didn't work than what did. The running game, the passing game, gadget plays have worked. Now it's just a matter of finishing the job. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas inside Reser Stadium.
The Beavers will kick it away to crank up the second half. Let's see what he can do with the return. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Nevada takes over as the offense returns to the field. How about that play to get a hand in there and force the incompletion? After the incompletion, it's second down. Handoff from the gun. He'll be stopped just short of the 20 at the 19, give him one. A third and long coming up here. From the gun, wants to pass. Dances away from the heat. And he scoots his way to the first down and then slides to avoid the hit. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. From the gun, the running back tries to hit the hole. Good job running tough and behind his pads as he gets up to the 38-yard line. 8-yard pickup on first down leaves him with second and short. From the gun, they'll give it on the inside. He stopped at the 48, a pickup of 10 on the play. This Nevada offense really has it going. Now he's looking to throw it. Buys a little extra time. And he has a solid gain on the play before sliding. And here comes the offense on second down. He makes the connection. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there. Still a little ground covered. Pick up the first.
It's third down.
They'll run play action. Just a short pass to the tight end. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch. Wolfpack will have first and 10. He's going to pass. Pressure coming. The freshman able to get home with the sack. They'll tell you that somebody's always going to pop open, but it didn't happen in time before they got the sack.
No, it did not. And you know what? I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember zone defense. They didn't really have an answer. They weren't ready to get rid of the football. Quarterback hesitated. I got to him and got him on the ground. Might be a good call later on in the game.
Big loss on the last play threatens to knock this drive off course. It's 2nd and 16. Now they'll run the draw. And a decent gain there before the defense makes a stop. They'll snap it for the 10th time on this drive, but they need a chunk on 3rd and long. Throwing right. Got him downfield. And they'll finally bring him down after he rips off a huge play.
Well, how about the offense setting that play up? We've seen earlier in the game a couple shorter throws. They're just trying to suck those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, anticipating that they would get an opportunity to take a shot. They called the perfect play at the perfect time right there.
He bullies his way all the way down to the 5-yard line. On 2nd down, wants to throw. Touchdown, Wolfpack! And the route is on. What a run for this playmaker to just elude the defense and get in for the score.
And I tell you what, defensively, you can't let this guy get on the edges. You cannot give up contain. When you're defensive ends, you got to stay outside. You got to make sure you know this guy's going to scramble and try to make plays, and you got to make sure you keep him in the pocket.
He'll try to tack on one more.
For the extra point.
And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Hey, fellas, big update in this colossal top 5 showdown today. San Diego State is putting on an offensive clinic. They built a big lead, and this one is approaching blowout territory. They're up by 17 over Air Force. We'll circle back if anything changes in this contested top 5 matchup. Fellas?
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final.
I love that play call. This offense is going to run the football. They're not just going to do it between the tackles, but they're going to attack you outside. You saw that with that handoff. They get to the right. They get him in space using his speed. Good play call.
He'll pitch it. And there's going to be a loss on that play. Just run out of bounds and avoiding the contact.
Second down.
To the ground with the back. And he finds some solid space, makes a nice game before the defense is able to stop him. And this offense is desperate to keep this drive alive, trailing by multiple possessions, and it's getting late. And the defense had his hands full, but they finally wrestle him down short of the first down. The Beavers decide to punt it away. Fourth time tonight we've seen this guy come on to punt. And the ball will bounce at the 4 and find its way into the end zone for a touchback. Nevada takes over as the offense returns to the field. Wants to throw on first down. Got a man. It's Guzman. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down. After that last completion, it's second down. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Out across the 30 mark, down at the 35 after the 10-yard gain. They'll snap it on first down from the 35. He wants to throw. He lobs one high down the left side. He's got it downfield for a huge gain. Touchdown, Nevada. And the pummeling has started.
When these offenses get in a rhythm, they're hard to stop. Already up early, got a short field, take advantage of it too, get another touchdown. This offense is doing whatever they want to do and having a lot of success.
They'll try to add another to their lead.
For the extra point.
And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown.
Nevada, 34. Oregon State, 3.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Oregon State takes over, ready to send the offense onto the field. They just didn't quite find the rhythm on that last drive, Jesse. They had to punt it.
I think they got to be more physical, David. I think up front they got to do a better job getting blocks and establishing this running game.
And how easy does football become if you're the more physical team? If you can threaten the run and then run play action, it opens up the whole offense at your disposal.
That's a really good tackle there, giving up some size and still making the play. Looking to throw, it's Algier. They're bringing heat. He's got his man. And they'll drag him down. That's likely the last play of the third quarter.
Number 17, on to punt it away.
We've reached the end of the quarter, and it's Nevada holding the lead. And as we switch ends of the field, let's take a quick look at the national rankings.
Oregon State, 3.
I guess if you're an optimist, the stage is set for a massive fourth quarter comeback. Try to get it on the ground. Tackled, but he has a first down. And the Beavers come to the line with a new set of downs. They'll leave it with him. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43. After the 9-yard pickup on first down, here's 2nd and 1. The give to the back. And they'll spot it at the 45. That's good enough for a first down. The Beavers have their offense in high gear. They go to the ground. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Tried to pound it on first down. Now back to the line. The give to the left side. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a first down. Tune in to the Ocho. 8th play of the drive coming up. The give to the tailback. Solid fundamentals on that tackle from this freshman. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line 2nd and 7.
Second down coming up.
Back to the ground with the running back. They make the stop, but this running game moves the chains as they get the first down. The Beavers have taken it inside the 20. On the option. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming. Stuck with a running game on first down. Now here they come again.
Brings up second down.
Softened him up with a run, and now to throw. And he can't find a receiver, and down he goes.
Well, the problem with the play-action game is that it forces the QB to hold on to the ball just a little bit longer to allow some of these plays to develop. And, of course, that gives this defense longer to get after him.
Twelfth play of the drive coming up, but they've got a long way to go here on third down. Running back searching for a hole. And how about that alertness and that swarming D to keep him from getting the first down? Down by multiple possessions, you can't come up empty on this drive. They'll go for it. They got him. It's a sack, and what a stop for this defense to turn it over on downs.
I know that was tough, but as a quarterback, you got to know on fourth down, you cannot take a sack. Any way, shape, or form, you've got to be able to get rid of that football and give it an opportunity. That time, I know it wasn't blocked perfect, but the quarterback's got to have more sense of urgency.
Offense getting set for first down. They'll keep it on the ground, trying to milk the clock. He's got a yard out to the 30-yard line. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. They'll try the run. Good job running tough and behind his pads as he gets up to the 38-yard line. We've reached the 2-minute warning, and this offense is that much closer to salting away a victory. On 3rd and short, the power run here. And they did not let him reach the line to gain. It'll bring up a decision here. The Wolfpacks will line up to punt it away. First one of the day is booted away. They ran him out there 4 times in the victory last week. Pretty solid coverage there, and they'll stop him at the 26. First down here for the offense. Power football with the run. Now after that run, they're in pretty good shape at the 30-yard line. Solid pickup of 4 on first down and 2nd and 6. Movement here from the tight end. The give to the back. And they drag him down, but not before he picks up the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Scanning the field, it's Algier. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. After the misfire, now on 2nd down. He's looking to throw. Fires left. Pulls it in. And a big-time grab there. Knocked down immediately, but not before he gets it to the 40. Off the play fake on first down. Slings it downfield. Complete to the right. Just making a play, getting it to the 23-yard line. It'll be first down. He's looking to throw it. Rush coming in hot, and they got him at the 29.
And, man, is that just indictment of the day. Your quarterback getting drilled late in the football game. This offense has sputtered. They haven't found any kind of good rhythm. They haven't done things that really gives your coach confidence and it makes you want to believe in them. This offense has a lot of work to do before their next football game.
That offense having to deal with the last thing you want on first down, giving up a sack as they come up to the line on 2nd down. He finds his man, and they'll stop him just short of the first down, just inches away from moving the sticks. Well, after back-to-back losses, this team is really teetering on the edge of disaster.
They got to try to hold on to the positives, as hard as that is to do right now, having lost a couple back-to-back, because this team has good players, and they've got good schemes on both sides of the ball, just things have not gone their way. They just need to make a few more plays to turn this thing around.
Yeah, and then they can do it, and they will do it. Listen, you got to get the players right. You got to get those guys in there believing. This is part of what happens. You got to take a few lumps sometimes, take those losses. But this team's going to figure it out. You can tell they got the right stuff.
So that's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis saying so long. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.